Is mayonnaise an instrument by Mysterion? I don't get it.
Is mayonnaise an instrument? I have no idea.
Hey guys, I love interacting with you, so I thought I'd make a monthly segment where I jump into the comments, read the best ones, have a few laughs, but also answer your medical questions. I'm gonna get right into it, and here we
I think this boy's cheese slid off his cracker.
Anita Ackway asks, is water wet? Anita, water is inherently wet. That's how wet is defined, in my opinion. Weird question. Sarai Ashby, is it safe to crack your own neck? I heard that it's bad, but it feels super good. Cracking your neck is probably not a bad thing as long as you're not doing some crazy techniques on yourself. Just the same way that cracking knuckles doesn't cause arthritis. This has been proven time and time again. All that is are nitrogen air bubbles escaping from your joint space. Nothing dangerous is happening. A DTT, can you read and write Russian? I can read Russian probably at a first grade level. Don't judge me. I came here when I was 5 and I didn't get much training afterwards, but I can't write Russian. Casey Sweet, do you know Hrithik Roshan, Bollywood actor? You act and look like him. I don't know who that is, but do I really look like him? This guy? No way. Thoughts on the Tide Pod epidemic? Have you had patients coming in having consumed them? Tessa, I have not had patients coming in who have consumed them. I don't understand who's doing this. It goes without saying that Tide Pods are harmful, just like I don't go around explaining and lecturing people that staples are not good to eat. Can you create a video on decreasing fat around the abdominal area for men? Hashtag gym struggles. Anthony, I'm with you. A lot of my patients are with you. It's very hard to lose abdominal fat, but the one thing we have to keep in mind is you cannot spot reduce. You have to work on decreasing your entire body's fat composition in order to see improvements in your abdominal area. Time for a haircut, doc. I agree, look, I got one. What was your undergraduate degree? Well, Kent, I did one of those 7-year combined programs where I did a bachelor's in science, which was of life sciences, and then a doctorate of osteopathic medicine. So it's a BSDO degree, 7 years combined. Only did 3 years of undergraduate studies and 4 years of med school. How often should you get a checkup? Well, Alexi, it really depends on not only your age group, it depends on your sex, it depends what medical conditions you have, but I think it's a safe bet to say that you should at least see your doctor every year to have a healthy conversation and figure out when you should return. Is it good if someone poops after every meal? Well, first of all, Poonam, everybody poops. It's a good book, you should check it out. After every meal, it sounds excessive, but if it's normal for you and that's what you've been doing your whole life, it shouldn't be a problem if everything else is fine. Mandy K, did you cut your lip or is that a cold sore? I know what video, the alcohol versus exercise video, and yes, that is a healing cold sore. It is a herpes virus. I took Valtrex, it went away. By the way, a lot of you don't know this. If you have an active herpes outbreak, you could ask your doctor to write your prescription for Valtrex. He'll shorten the lifespan of your cold sore. 1154 Clee. What about sex versus exercise? I volunteer as tribute as long as I get Dr. Mike. What about sex versus exercise? Sex can be exercise, but you burn only about 100 calories having sex. And I love that Radioactive Ood wrote that they're in for a threesome. Thanks, Radioactive Ood. I don't know what your username means. What's Ood?
I know, right?
K-Tran. There is research that said smoking can prevent us from Alzheimer's. Is it true? Can you discuss about the pros and cons of cigarette and your recommendation? My recommendation here is clear. Don't smoke. There are no health benefits. Whoever told you that smoking prevents Alzheimer's disease is probably saying that because you die earlier when you smoke, so you never get a chance to develop Alzheimer's disease. How do I fall asleep faster and how do I stay asleep? Well, Idris, it depends. I would need to ask you a lot more questions, but one of the biggest things that I see people mess up when it comes to their sleep is having their phone by their side. Phones are a distraction because you tend to look at them and see that your friends are up to some cool stuff and you get jealous, or maybe you read a work email and you get anxious, and all that anxiety and FOMO is horrible for your sleep. But the blue light that your phone emits also hurts the melatonin, sleep hormone in your brain, which may not hurt how fast you fall asleep, but it hurts the quality of your sleep for sure. That's been documented. And next, look at your sleep environment. Make sure it's cool in your room, make sure it's dark in your room and quiet in your room. And by quiet, it doesn't mean completely silent. It just means that if you have a noise, make sure it's not like, make sure it's like a white noise that stays constant. Is there any medical reason for the legal drinking age? Obviously, kids shouldn't be downing bottles at 5, but what's significant from say 18 to 21? Andrew, I think the reason that in the United States the legal drinking age is 21 has a lot to do with the religious nature of the people that moved to the United States from England. But I also think that the later that you start drinking, the better it is for your mind, because even at 18 or 21, your mind is still developing. W. Rivera. Wow, this was annoying. Rivera, I don't know what video you're talking about. Man! Sorry. Marissa Buscemi, I would love to hear your thoughts on soy products and whether it increases risk for cancer, especially breast cancer. Marissa, great question. Soy has phytoestrogens in it. Phytoestrogens are basically the plant form of the natural estrogen that you find in your own body. Your body can react to these phytoestrogens, and if you're predisposed to developing a cancer, specifically a breast cancer that's estrogen sensitive, eating a lot of soy products or having a high soy diet can speed up the rate of you getting this cancer and can make it worse. We don't have any answers or exact answers on what everybody should eat, but I think keeping it in moderation, being smart, and not overeating soy products is smart. Saketh Rudraraju, I saw PS4 controllers in the background of a few of your videos. Very perceptive. What games do you play? I play on PlayStation 4 Call of Duty World War II, and I play Overwatch. If you want to add me, my username is Real Dr. Mike. Add me, we'll play. Sumera Busra, how do you exercise? I have an interesting exercise routine because I do all sorts of different things. I like to keep it varied, so I'll play soccer, I'll play basketball, I'll go boxing, but I also lift weights. I'm a big fan of heavyweight lifting to make sure that I stay strong. That's very important to me. And we've seen that the best results come from those who weight train and cardio train, so I always like to mix up both of those routines. Dr. Mike, I have a question for you. That's why we're doing this. Why do I faint after blood exam? The sight of blood doesn't bother me and I'm not afraid of needles. Farah, it sounds like what you're having is called a vasovagal response. You, without even thinking about it, your primitive brain has a startling response to getting poked and losing some blood. It's not your frontal part of your brain, which makes some of your more complicated decisions for you, but your primitive brain starts panicking that it saw blood, that you're losing blood, your heart rate drops your blood pressure, and you don't get enough blood flow to the brain. And when that happens, you faint, or you feel like you're going to faint and you're going to black out. Not much you can do with that, about it, but be cautious of standing up afterwards, know that it could happen, and take the proper precautions. I couldn't help but notice the pit sweat. You really should look into Thompson teas, they changed my life. Chance, I don't know what Thompson teas are, but I often wear scrubs, so I don't know if I can wear Thompson's teas. What I will say is that my armpits do sweat a lot, and I am considering getting Botox injections into my armpits. It's that serious. And that may be a future YouTube video, so stay tuned. Sana Fatima, can you please make a video on CT scans, MRIs, ultrasounds? Are they really that dangerous to get? Can a CT scan actually lead to cancer? MRI scans and ultrasounds are relatively benign, Sana, so you don't have to worry about that. CT scans do pose a health risk because they do expose you to unnecessary radiation. How much of that radiation actually leads to cancer is a topic that's up for debate. I have talked to some radiologists who believe that the risk is overstated because they believe that the type of radiation that you get from CT scans is not the same type of radiation that we've studied from Hiroshima and other times when we use nuclear weapons, because that's what we use as our basis of what is acceptable level of radiation for the human body to accept without health risk. If you don't need a CT scan, don't get it. If there is a significant health benefit for you getting a CT scan, like figuring out whether or not you have appendicitis and you need emergency surgery, yes, get the CT scan. But if your stomach hurts and you just want to figure out what's going on, maybe it's better to hang out a day or two and see if the stomach pain goes away and not get a CT scan. Follow my logic there? Esso Muhammad, what is your opinion about meditation? I love meditation. I think we live in a crazy, stressful world where chronic stress is all around us and our bodies are not meant to handle chronic stress. We can handle individual stresses on a short term, but chronic stress is horrible, and meditation is a great way to break out of chronic stress. What does the future of medicine look like? A lot of individual personalized healthcare, meaning that based on your genetics, we're gonna give you a specific treatment. For example, I can have two patients come in with the same illness, but treat them totally different based on their genetics. And I think that's totally awesome. I also think there's gonna be an increase in telemedicine, which is basically like Skyping your doctor. And I think that has a use granted limited use, but there's definitely a place in medicine where we can use that, and the more technologically savvy we all become, the more we can use that sort of technology to make us healthier. Hey doc, you are losing your charm. Anyways, nothing in this world is permanent. Hope I'm not losing my charm, man. Mean. This person doesn't even have a username. Within the exercise category, which would you consider the most beneficial for long-term health? I'm a huge fan of HIIT. HIIT for the win. It helps your resting heart rate. It helps with heart rate variability. It's good on your insulin levels, and it's good for fat distribution. So I'm a fan of HIIT. I swear by HIIT. I practice HIIT. I recommend HIIT. How many more times can I say HIIT before you understand that I love HIIT? Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed the first installment of this new series. Go and watch some more YouTube videos of mine. Leave some comments because I'm gonna be looking at the recent comments and answering them in an upcoming video. As always, stay happy and healthy.